Good afternoon, everyone. The Senate Finance Committee is now in session. And we're going to begin with Senate Bill 205. The bills this afternoon are all departmental bills. So they aren't individual bills thought of by members. And we'll start with a representative from Workforce Development with 205.
Thank you.
Okay, so Aaron Roth from the Maryland Department of Labor.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and distinguished members of the Senate Finance Committee. For the record, my name is Aaron Roth, and I'm the Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Department of Labor's Division of Workforce Development and Adult Learning. The Maryland Apprenticeship and Training Program is housed within our division. Today, I bring greetings from Labor Secretary Tiffany Robinson, who has asked me to present Senate Bill 205 to you this afternoon. We do thank you, Chair Kelly, for the courtesy of introducing our departmental bill. Joining me this afternoon is Mr. Chris McClarian. He is our Director of Apprenticeship and Training. And I just add that Mr. McClarian is known nationally for his expertise on apprenticeship and will be available to answer any questions that the committee may have. So by shifting the sunset from July 1st, 2024 to July 1st, 2034, Senate Bill 205 looks to reauthorize Labor's Division of Workforce Development and Adult Learning, my division, as the state apprenticeship agency. And it reauthorizes the duties of Maryland's Apprenticeship and Training Council. While reauthorization is not actually required until 2024, early action will reaffirm our commitment to this highly effective earn and learn registered apprenticeship model. Labor has submitted written testimony to the committee today, but I will take this opportunity to share some information on our recent progress to expand registered apprenticeship, and I'll also explain why a sunset extension is critical. So as of December 31st, 2012, which is immediately prior to the last sunset review period, Maryland had 7,645 registered apprentices. In 2016, the Maryland Apprenticeship and Training Program was actually transferred internally within our agency from the Division of Labor and Industry to our division, the Division of Workforce Development and Adult Learning. And this was an intentional strategic shift to allow for stronger integration of apprenticeship into the state's American job centers and the overall public workforce system. And if you fast forward, as of today, Maryland has 11,450 registered apprentices and 181 active apprenticeship program sponsors. This marks the highest number of active programs in over a decade, including 2 straight years of 10,000 plus apprentices registered for the first time in state history. We're very proud of this. And actually, this past November, the Maryland Longitudinal Data System released a report that analyzed data on apprenticeship program participants 5 years after they complete the program. And the findings were very significant. Maryland apprentices were found to have a median annual salary of nearly $83,000 a year. So we believe it is important to continue our efforts to expand and promote these good paying apprenticeship careers, and passing Senate Bill 205 will help us do just that. Since apprenticeship came to the division in 2016, we have also been very successful at securing funds from competitive grant opportunities that the federal government makes available to scale apprenticeship at the state level. In fact, we've brought in nearly $13 million since 2016. We've used those funds to expand and diversify apprenticeship programming, both in the types of programs that are available. So we've expanded into in-demand sectors like healthcare and IT, but we've also worked to increase awareness of and access to apprenticeship for women, minorities, and other historically underrepresented populations like returning citizens and individuals with disabilities. Passing Senate Bill 205 will not only allow for our Department of Labor to continue its role as a state apprenticeship agency, but it will also allow for the Maryland Apprenticeship and Training Council to continue its critical work. And with that, I want to conclude by thanking you for the opportunity to speak today. The department does respectfully ask for a favorable report on Senate Bill 205. And of course, Mr. McClarian and I are both happy to answer any questions that the committee may have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions of this witness? right? If not. And she's done with that. Okay, we're going next to Christopher McLaren, Department of Labor.
Mr. McLaren was here to just answer any
Answer
questions.
questions, okay.
Thank you.
And what about Andrew Fulgenetti? Just to answer questions?
Just written. You just submitted the written.
Okay, well, that's it. Are there any questions from members? All right, we want to thank you for your presentation and look forward to the vote on your bill.
Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Chair and the committee.
Okay, I'm going to this bill now.
All right, we're going next to Senate Bill 213, Commission of Real Estate Appraisers. And our witness is Gregory Morgan from the Department of Labor, Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair Kelly and Vice Chair Feldman and esteemed members of this committee. For the record, I'm Greg Morgan. I serve the citizens of Maryland as the Commissioner of the Division of Occupational and Professional Licensing within the Maryland Department of Labor. Our division oversees the licensing and regulatory compliance of 254,469 licensees in 24 occupational and professional licensing categories, with oversight provided by 21 appointed boards and commissions. All of these licensing boards and commissions were set forth by statute created by the Maryland General Assembly. I'm here today to ask this committee for a favorable report for Senate Bill 213, which is the sunset extension of State Commission of Real Estate Appraisers, appraisal management companies, and home inspectors. The commission licenses and regulates 2,266 individuals and 140 appraisal management companies who provide appraisal services pursuant to the provisions of Business Occupations and Professions article established for this commission. Further, the commission licenses and regulates 1,308 individuals who provide home inspection services, again, pursuant to the provisions of Business Occupation and Professions articles. The commission remains committed to accomplishing its objective of ensuring industry compliance with the Maryland and federal law and generally promoting a safe and sound home appraisal and home inspection industry in Maryland. For these reasons, the department respectfully requests a favorable report from the committee on Senate Bill 213. I'm now available to answer any questions you may have regarding this bill. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Yes.
If not,
Senator
Madam
Hayes.
Chair.
yes.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a couple of questions, and
Okay, Senator Hayes.
real estate appraisals have been a great concern of mine. Last year, we in the General Assembly passed the bill unanimously to look at appraisals here in the state of Maryland because of the historic under devaluation of this very valuable asset, especially in Black communities post redlining and things of that nature. In reading the fiscal note, it states, and what I tried to do prior to the hearing was go through the website to get an idea of any type of reporting to see the work that maybe the Real Estate Appraisal Board has been doing. And there's not a whole lot of information there other than what they're charged to do. So there's no how many applications, where could I find information whereas we know like the actual work that that you guys have been doing, like how many people have been licensed, where they're licensed, and any data that we could look at about the performance?
Sure. So as I stated before, we can give you that information and any information we may have. If it's not on the website, if you reach out to me directly, I can certainly get that for you. And as far as we always report on complaints and any topics that may be of concern.
Right. And so according to the website, the fiscal note, the Office of Program Evaluation and Government Accountability within DLS has the authority to review any of these terminations prior to them coming up for a sunset. but in this case, they have not. And so I guess I'm trying to figure, like, how else would the legislature be informed on whether or not we should go forward if we don't have an evaluation of the program?
So we can certainly, provide that evaluation. Our commission, were set forth by the standards established in the statute, as well as this industry is required to follow strict compliance with the appraisal foundation set forth by Congress that mandates, how appraisals are done and how appraisers are trained in continuing education, diversity training, and the appraisal foundation is constantly reviewing any topics that may come up, especially Senator Hayes, some of the issues that you referred to. In fact, recently, when some of these matters came to our attention of concern, Secretary Robinson proactively sent a letter to the Appraisal Foundation and got a 5-page response from them with response to those concerns. So if there's any additional information requested, we can certainly provide that to this committee.
Definitely. I would love, if I could ask that you definitely reach out. This is an issue that's really concerning to me. I did an interview with one of the local media outlets in Prince George's County. I think it was TV9 who did a very extensive report on this and looking at the disparity in appraisals. And in one case, they showed $135 million difference under the appraisal. And so they've been I know a lot of media outlets are very interested in what we're doing here in Maryland and what opportunities we have to protect the constituents and be fair and unbiased in that regard. So I would love if following the hearing, we could get some more questions before this might come up for a vote.
Sure, absolutely. Our office will reach out to you, Senator Hayes, as well as this committee through Chair Kelly.
Okay, so we'll hold it a little while so you get your answers. Are there other questions? All right, if not, we thank you for your testimony, and we'll go now to Senate Bill 219, the Maryland Department of Labor, Occupational and Professional Licensing, Gregory Morgan.
Hey, that's me again.
Okay.
Your lucky day. Again, good afternoon, Madam Chair Kelly and Vice Chair Feldman. I won't go through introducing myself again, but again, I serve the citizens of Maryland as the Commissioner of Occupational Professional Licensing. I'm here today to ask this committee for favorable report on Senate Bill 219, and this is a sunset extension for the Office of Cemetery Oversight. And the Office of Cemetery Oversight was established in Title V of the Business Regulation Article of the Maryland Annotated Code in 1997. This office provides high standards of performance in the death care industry, and we enhance healthy economic competition. We promote consumer confidence in burial goods, products, and services, and we provide a structure and oversight to pre-planning arrangements. The primary objective of the office is to register and monitor Maryland sole proprietorships, individuals, partnerships, corporations, and LLCs operating cemeteries, as well as businesses providing burial goods and services to consumers. And this includes monuments and memorials. The office also regulates and provides registration for crematories under its jurisdiction in the state. Basically, crematories that are owned by a cemetery are licensed and regulated by our office. Crematories that are operated by a funeral home are licensed and regulated by the Board of Morticians at the Maryland Department of Health. Currently, our office has a total of 727 licensees, broken out into the 21 aforementioned categories. We provide a responsive complaint resolution process for consumers and operates a fair and effective regulatory enforcement system for cemeteries, monument dealers, and sellers of burial goods, as well as crematory subject to our regulatory authority. Responsibilities of the office include the investigation and mediation of consumer complaints involving registrants and permit holders, To protect Maryland citizens from unfair and unscrupulous practices, the office determines and enforces the ethical standards related to the operation of cemeteries and those related to the provision of burial goods and services within the state. In 2021, the Office of Cemetery Oversight investigated a total of 86 formal complaints and responded to a total of 177 inquiries. As well, the Office of Cemetery Oversight is responsible for the audit of perpetual care trusts that regulated cemeteries must maintain and subject to annual audits by the Financial Compliance Administrator of the Office of Cemetery Oversight. The Office of Cemetery Oversight remains committed to accomplishing the objective of ensuring industry compliance within Maryland law. As well, it is the mission and duty of the office to protect the citizens of Maryland who are making contractual financial decisions during a very emotional and difficult period of time in their lives. Madam Chair and committee members, during my time as commissioner, I have witnessed on many occasions the caring assistance provided by our team to family members of a deceased loved one who have concerns or issues with the cemetery and need guidance, and at times an investigation and enforcement of the rights and laws to protect the living and preserve the legacy of the deceased. For these reasons, the department respectfully requests a favorable report from this committee for Senate Bill 219. And I will now open it up to any questions.
Let me start it off. As you know, we've in the last 2 or 3 years had people who trade on the New York Stock Exchange wanting to have these, some of the cemeteries in Maryland be put into that category. What is your thinking about the health and the perpetual operational needs of the cemeteries in Maryland, those that were asking us in the past to let them be traded on a stock exchange and so on?
So for the 99 cemeteries that we regulate, license and regulate, we manage or we provide audit services to about $250 million of perpetual care funds, as well as pre-need funds. So basically a pre-need fund is if someone purchases a cemetery plot or prepays for funeral services, we make sure the money's there that when the time comes, these services can be provided. So a lot of the companies, the for-profit companies in this industry are conglomerates, if you will. As far as the ones being traded on the stock exchange, I'm not familiar with which ones are and which ones are just large private companies. But one of the benefits of the Office of Cemetery Oversight is to ensure that there's an objective review of the finances of these cemeteries. Because if honestly, if this office hadn't been founded in 97, we would be dealing with possibly a lot more abandoned and neglected cemeteries. So it really helps to preserve, the legacy of our deceased loved ones, and not have cemeteries abandoned and in disrepair. I hope that answered your question in a very long way.
Okay. Would you say that during this pandemic, given the impact on the general economy, that a number of our cemeteries might be struggling?
We have not seen any issue with that. Again, we pay close attention. We have an investigator that if we receive concerns or complaints, and quite honestly, Madam Chair, we will go out to an unregulated cemetery, and if both parties, if there is a complaint, if both parties agree, we will get involved and mediate as needed. But we haven't seen any, result of any cemeteries becoming, overgrown or in disrepair or any concerns of that nature. We deal with issues every day, and some of them are quite challenging, but it's very helpful to the families, especially the families of the deceased, to have a neutral party mediate on their behalf.
Okay, are there any other questions? All right, not hearing any, not seeing any. Thank you very much for your testimony. Oh, is your hand up? Son? Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for
And
having us today. Bye-bye.
Then ends
Madam
our
Chair?
hearing. Yes.
Madam Chair, I just not with the hearing. In our piece, there's a thing called the impact note, but it seems to not be there. Do you know if we're supposed to have that for these bills, or whether or not that was supposed to be happening?
The impact note.
Yes.
You mean a fiscal note?
No, there is the fiscal note, but there's another tab called the impact note, which they started to work on last year. Again, this is a larger, which looked at, I want to say, the impact that it would have on like diversity, inclusion, and equity for bills.
I haven't seen that on anything so far this year. Did we actually pass something to make that happen systematically?
Well, it's on our floor system as well as like one of the pull down tabs. I don't know, maybe we don't have it. But I know that they instituted doing some of that last year.
Well, that's
Senator,
something
I
we-
know what you're referring to, and I'll follow up with the department to see if that requirement is for every single bill or only specified bills. I'll have to look and see what the status of the impact notes you're referring to are.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. If there are no other questions, then that ends our bill hearing for today. And thank